a few country western songs. I bought a chord book, and right away I started writing my own stuff, which nobody else did that. I don't know why, but I mean, I had a big background in listening to classical music, and I started trying to compose like I was playing a guitar, but I heard an orchestra in my head. So I was really composing for full orchestra. And of course, I didn't know enough chords or harmony yet, but I came up with some interesting stuff.
far north as it appears to be. It's about 550 miles from Toronto, and it's a place called Wawa, which is on the northeast shore of Lake Superior. It's an extraordinary place. I've been coming up here for about 4 or 5 years now to sort out some thoughts and try to get some writing done. And something very strange happened to me the first time I was up here. I was away for about 2 weeks, away from Toronto and away from cities and away from city living and city thinking. And I did, I think, the best writing of my entire life at that time. And I decided it was the sort of therapy I needed, and I've been coming back for more of same ever since. And it hasn't let me down yet. It's an extraordinary spot. One thing that explains the enchantment of a place like Wawa is that when you come here, you're virtually forced to set aside all the silly, superficial notions of escalation, emotional escalation, for instance, that govern one's life in the city. I think perhaps that's really why I don't like life in the city and don't see it as any sort of future for myself, much less for anyone else who really wants to step outside the frame of their particular life and think about it in some perspective. People in these small towns really do have that kind of perspective. In some ways, I think they have a much better, tighter, closer perspective on what they're doing, what they want to do, what they can do, what their potentialities are, than most of us city slickers allow. There are some extraordinary insights available to people who have put their life in a deep freeze and set it aside and said, we will now look at it and see it against what it could have been had we lived elsewhere. And I suppose in a sense that's what I'd like to do, and that's why I come here. The kind of people that I need around me for the most part are not artists. I think of artists as being like the apes that congregate on the Rock of Gibraltar. They tend to go for higher and higher niches and more stratified ones. They're very stratification-conscious people, and they're very limiting people to be around. They use their own imagery to such an extent that they exclude a great deal of the world automatically from their points of view. The most interesting people to have around one are people who are in a position to make synoptic judgments, diplomats, foreign service people, people in communications, journalists sometimes if they don't get too caught up in the cliches of journalism, but definitely not artists. They're all Gibraltarians. I can't imagine a life in which I would not be surrounded by music, and I mean that in the McLuhan sense of the word. I mean that I absolutely enjoy being surrounded by a sort of electronic wallpaper, having music everywhere about me. I think that it gives a certain shelter, it sets you apart, and I think that the only value that I have as an artist, the only value that most artists have, even whether they realize it or not, is their particular isolation from the world about which they write and to which they hope to contribute. I couldn't contribute without that isolation. I would have been very, very unhappy as a 19th century man.
would like to go over the first period of when I first met Albert Ayler. It was in Copenhagen, and I was working with Sonny Rollins at the time on a tour, my first time to Europe. And we were playing at a concert at the concert house in Copenhagen. And after the concert, this man walked up to me, and right away I felt that I had known him before, you know, with sparkling eyes and a happy smile. And I remember at that time, Sonny Rollins and I were tuning up into the type of music that I was playing and the type of music that he was playing. And we were reaching understanding of why, you know, he knew I had the background of the jazz basics of chords and melody, and why sometimes would I venture off into this abstract feeling of music, you know. And that particular evening, after the concert, and everyone had left the hall, Sonny and Rollins, seemed like everyone was going out of the theater, the concert hall, but Sonny Rollins, myself, we were still on the stage speaking. And this man, Albert Ayler, was waiting for me because we had planned to go to the jazz club after. And he patiently waited, and Sonny Rollins and I was having a very deep discussion on music in general and life. And afterwards, Albert and I went to our hotel room, and we sat and talked, and I felt a moment, I could feel this feeling of being in the presence of someone that was carrying the gift and the voice and reflection of God. And it's only been a very few people within my lifetime that I have met that I feel have carried this light as musicians, you know. And afterward, as we finished talking, we ventured over to this club, the Montmartre, and we had our horns to play. I remember that night Dexter Gordon and Don Bias was working in the club. And we at first, just myself and Dexter, and I think maybe Kenny Jew was playing piano or something. And I sat in and played a few songs with Dexter and Don Bias, some I Got Rhythm or something. Albert had his horn, and the club was very crowded, and I didn't, while we were playing the first two songs, I hadn't seen him. Then suddenly someone suggested to play a ballad, a medley of ballads. Oh, I'll never forget this. And everyone played their medley. And then, usually the natural form for jazz is everyone takes, and then the piano comes in. And right before the piano, all of a sudden I heard this sound. And Albert came on the bandstand to play with us. I'm trying to remember the song. I can't really. And I remember the first time of me hearing Ornette Coleman. I remember the first time of me hearing John Coltrane. I could hear and feel all this within his sound. And see, it's a very, when you first, what they say, before you become known, when you're woodshedding, is the term we use, studying and practicing, and you're not thinking of you're not playing. Everyone has their own reason for playing music, and it's a certain naturalness before you get discovered by the commercial world and they put you into this thing, And all that naturalness was in this man's sound, all that love. And to me, it was like the word had came back. We've all heard of the word in the Bible. First there was the word, and the word that was lost. And in hearing this man's sound, it was there. I had the feeling of when I was very young, my parents would take my sister and us on Sundays to church. It was a Baptist church. They'd leave us there early in the morning. We'd go Sunday school, the afternoon meeting, then the evening meeting, and then the radio show that night, you know. And then they would come and pick us up. And the feeling in a Baptist holiness type church is where that everyone feels the spirit in the room. And people become happy, they call it. You know, some people, they say you speak languages. But it's this whole feeling of the spirit being in the room and of this feeling of bliss. And it happened that night in me hearing Albert Ayler play. I must make it clear that in the Western world that, and this is a fact that you come from poverty, you come from the ghetto, you come from, especially we should say in America. You want to play music, and music's all around you, and your family plays music, everyone sings, and it's you learn the gospel music first. Everyone says the blues and everything. But you learn from the music of the gospel of the church. Everyone has that embedded in their soul when they're young. And you become, you have to, it's always put into you to make an occupation. I'm in this thing, I have ambition and intuition, and this, they put this thing of, well, you must, what profession, you must think about a profession all your life, you can't feel that you must do this because you must do this, and it's only a very few people that can come through this, can feel that what they do is because they must do it, not knowing the reason why other than some inner force that's driving you, And as you come out, you have to make a living, a survival, and you start playing jobs, and you do this, and you do. And in the West, everyone playing, you reach this level of playing for money, But there's a few people that play for the love of God, and as a reflection from God. And Albert Ayler was one of these people. I didn't see Albert again after that night in Copenhagen.
My name is Albert Ayler. I played back when I was about 8 years old. My father, he made me play the saxophone and so forth. So when I was in high school, I played first chair. I played oboe there. And then on through high school, I played golf also. And when I graduated from high school, I went to the college for 1 year, but due to the fact that money wasn't strong enough, I had to leave college. So therefore, I had to think of a different way to go. So from there, I went to the Army, and I stayed for a little while, and there I developed and met quite a few guys, good musicians that helped me, and I helped them feeling-wise. And I had always wanted to come to the Scandinavian countries. I'd heard a lot about the Scandinavian people, so I had my opportunity. I'd saved quite a bit of money. And when I come over here, I feel quite free, really free. I feel free over here. And it's one day, everything will be as it should be.